All right, so the last part of our discussion is the usual application of percents. And so this is where you will usually see percent application, and that is what we call as the simple interest, okay? So the simple interest formula is given below, which is I equals PRT. I is the interest, P is the principal, R is the annual interest rate, and it's always written as a decimal, and then T is the time, and it's always in years. So I would just like to highlight a few things here, okay? T should always be, where's our point here? T is always in years, okay? This is always the time in years. Principal is usually what is the amount borrowed, or what was the initial deposit, okay? R is easy to find because it is always the one with the percent sign, okay? So let's have an example here. So let's say you deposited $840 in savings account, and it earns a simple interest rate of 4.5% every year, okay? You want to keep the money in the account for 4 years. How much interest will you earn, I should say, okay? So we are being asked to look for the simple interest. So we know that our I, interest, is going to be equal to P times the R times the T, okay? So since we're looking for the interest, let's identify what is our P, what is our principal. So remember, principal is always the amount borrowed or deposited. And in this case, we had a deposit, and that is $840, okay? So that's going to be 840 times the R is always the value with the percent sign, and so this is our R, 4.5%, okay? So put it there as 4.5%, and the time should always be in years, okay? And according to this, the account needs to be there in 4 years, so times 4, okay? So P times R times T. Now remember, our R cannot be in a percent form, so you still have to change 4.5%, okay? Make sure that you change that to become 0.045. Again, from where the decimal point is, you move it 2 to the left when you're changing it from percent to decimal. So you go 1, 2, and so as you can see, it's going to be 0.045 as your value, okay? And so here, so this is going to be, it's 840, and then this is 4, okay? So if you multiply all these numbers, you will get, so you'll get $151, $151.20, okay? So it means that in 4 years, the amount that you deposited, 840, will earn an additional $151.20. So after 4 years, it's going, when you check your bank account, it will be 840 plus the 151.20, okay? So that is one of the reasons why people are putting in money in their savings account, because that money grows as time passes by, and that growth will depend on how many percent it will be per year, okay, and for how long your money will be staying in the account, okay? So why don't you try this next example on your own? Try this one and work it out, okay? All right, so for this particular problem, it's kind of different, a little bit different from what the previous example was, because we are not looking for the interest. How do we know? If you go over the problem, you will see that $125 is the P, it's the deposit. Of course, the one with the percent is our R. Now, the other given number, $8.75 is the interest, okay? So that is our I. And the question, as you can see, is for how long, which means T, time, is the one that's missing. Now remember, our formula for interest is I is equal to PRT. Just replace everything from that formula, okay? I is 875, 125 is the deposit, 0.0175, we already changed the 1.75% into decimal form, and then t is the one that's missing. So if you are working on isolating the t, you will have to multiply these two numbers. This is what you will get. And then to isolate the t, you divide it by 2.1875, and you will end up having t is equivalent to 4 years. So it will take 4 years for this account to earn $8.75. Okay? So to summarize, when you are looking for a percent, so you know that from the problem there is no number that is using the percent sign, so you can use the proportion or the equation solution, okay? If you are looking for a part, so you can see here that you have the percent, right after the of is your b, so the part is missing, okay? So a equals the percent times the base. If you're looking for the base, you have the number right after of is missing, okay? And so you will see that that times b is the one that is going to be missing in there, okay? So to summarize everything here, you can solve problems involving percents. You can either use proportions or percent equation, and they are very closely related. Now, if you are going to write a percent as a fraction, you can use the proportion to solve the percent problem, okay? Thank you.